So I think now is a good time to start.
Just 1 second, Apurva. Just let it come.
Oh, I already got the message.
Okay, now it is there. Yeah. Okay, you can start.
Just one moment. I'll start sharing the presentation.
So good morning and welcome, friends. We are bringing to you this from Joy of Learning Foundation, and also this is sponsored by Indian Oil Corporation Limited. So Apurva will be taking the session, and some of us will be showing you experiments from on our table here.
All right. So good morning, everyone. So let's start the session. And yeah, like ma'am said, that we're doing this with financial assistance from Indian Oil Corporation Limited. So now, since many of you have been attending our sessions for a very long time now, so you know that we do a lot of experiments, and even today we'll begin with one. And the spoon and the thread that we were asking for. So we actually need that right away. And what we need to do is, what all of you need to do is, take the spoon and tie the thread to the center of it.
Stop sharing, then people can
see. Oh, yeah. Yes. So you can just tie a spoon, from here, like the way I've done it, to the center of the thread, so that it fits in the center. And all right. So first you can listen to the instruction and then start doing it. So now what you can do is you can hit this spoon. So if you have a table right next to you, or right now I'll show it on the wall, you can hit it with the table. So you hit it like this, and most likely you will hear a sound, right? Now the next thing you have to do is, just like earphones, okay? We'll try to make earphones out of it. Wrap the thread around your fingers, put it in your ears, and then hit the wall again or the table. And just see if you notice any difference in the kind of sound that you hear. Okay, so first, without the thread in your ears, you do this. And then with the thread wrapped around your fingers in your ear, you bang it across a table.
You can stand up and show it.
Yeah.
Then people can see how it's hitting. So show it in your ears. Yeah.
Okay. So so the thread is in my ears, and now I'm hitting it. I don't know if it's clearly visible right now. Is it?
A little.
Okay.
I mean, firstly, show your ears and then your finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so put it in your ears and then just hit it with the table. And oh, I heard the sound again. So it's quite magical. So please go ahead and do that yourself. And also, while you're doing it, if you can switch on your cameras, that would be great, because that way we also get to see you participate in this.
So Geeta Sapkota has said she can hear a louder and sharp sound. Some other people have started their cameras.
Yeah, I can see Archana ma'am doing it.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So those who were able to do it, can you respond on the chat, or maybe you can unmute yourself also and tell us what is it that you heard?
Sound is louder and sharp while closing ear by our fingers.
Yeah, sound is quite loud. Does it resemble any other sound you might have heard before? Archana ma'am, you're also on.
There's a background noise. So if there is a background noise, then you will not be able to speak. Then you have to write on the chat box.
So responses other than what Geeta ma'am said?
Yeah, other people who are doing it can actually write on the chat box. And if you are not unable to do it just now, please do it later. This is the simplest possible experiment, but the result is pretty dramatic. I mean, you can surprise everyone, your own family as well as your classroom children.
Yeah. And the question I was asking before, does it resemble any other sound? Yeah, so Shmita ma'am is also saying it's louder when we put with the thread inside the ear. Definitely. It is much louder. Does it remind you of any other sound? If we were to tell the teachers who were not able to do this right now, if you were to explain your experience to them. Okay. Yeah. So to me, it sounds like a temple gong, something like this, something on the, lines of this. So, but again, like ma'am said earlier, you have to try this yourself and just see what you hear. Now the question is, why
Yeah,
are we
temple bell or church bell, a loud ghanta sound or bell sound, that's what it is. So, I mean, some people may not understand gong, that's why I said, okay. Yeah,
yeah, a temple bell, absolutely. But why so much of a difference? And once again, I'll have to request more teachers to participate because we love to keep our sessions interactive. And if it's just me talking all the time, it might not be, very productive for everyone. So, Geeta ma'am, would you like to suggest something? Why this difference that we are hearing?
Yes, it is different because by closing our ear, the outside sound.
Your voice is not very clear. It's breaking between.
Yes, so I think it's better if people write on chat.
Yeah, if you can write it down, even better. Okay, yeah. So we have a response by Annapurna that sound in second case has a medium to travel faster and louder. And that's actually quite correct. That here in the second case, we actually have a thread. So in the first case, does sound not have a medium? So sound, I'm going to answer that question myself. Sound has a medium even in the first case, right? But in the second case, yeah, so it has the air as the medium. And in the second case, we have a solid here. So some of you might already know about this, that solids are much better. They're able to transmit sound much more effectively than any other medium. So this is a very simple experiment to demonstrate this fact, right? And you can do it with your children as well.
Okay.
And we will discuss about this a bit more as the session progresses. We'll get into the details of this. In fact, we have one more experiment that also beautifully demonstrates sound. We can actually see the movement through different sounds, but I'm not sure if we are ready to do that experiment. Anshumala ma'am, are we?
So we'll do that one a little later.
A little bit, okay.
So we can start with other things. Yeah.
Correct. Great. So this is the one that we'll do in a little while. Okay. So again, another question for you all. How can sound be produced? In what different ways can you produce sound? In any kind of sound. Again, you can respond on the chat. Okay, so we have a response by creating vibrations. Okay, so then let me ask this question in another way, that how can vibrations be produced? Although we have not spoken in depth about what vibrations are, we will in a while, but in general, like, so like I did this. So we know that I can make a sound by moving my fingers like this. So in what all other ways can you produce sound? Come on, this is easy to answer. Okay, great. So we have a couple of responses. When an object strikes or moves, that's absolutely right. Whenever we have any two objects colliding with each other, or one moving against the other, sound is bound to be produced. To and fro movements, all right. This is interesting. That, could you give an example maybe for to and fro movements? And all right, so just think about it, keep this in the back of your mind, and we'll discuss this again. Okay, we have one more response, whistle. Absolutely right. Whistling is also, so when we play a whistle, we are actually making air pass through a very tiny hole. And even that is a way to produce sound. Okay, so first,
Apurva,
yeah, okay.
I
You
have
want
this
to show
extraordinary whistle here.
Okay, go ahead. I'll stop sharing.
Yeah. So friends, I have this, can you spotlight?
Yes.
So this is a very unique whistle. I mean, I'll bring it close to the camera for you to see. Actually, this was earlier very common in India, but now probably not. It's made of, I mean, I've seen it made with plastic also, but this is actually clay. And simple whistle, there is a hole on top. And actually, there is a passage through which, of course, you can blow air, but you can also put a little water into it. And let's see what kind of sound it produces. Oh, this is the water hasn't gone as yet, so I'll put some water. But right now, this is a plain whistle, but now I'll put some water into it. Now some water has gone in. Can you see the sound changing? Let me put some more water. Actually, it's a great, great toy, and actually demonstrates something very beautiful about sound.
Yeah, it's much clearer now.
So okay.
Ma'am, same can be produced with the hookah, traditional hookah, I think.
Yes, of course, traditional hookah also produces sound because of yes, absolutely.
This is a traditional.
So Apurva, carry on.
All right. So we have a few more responses that using a swing machine and guitar strings, so drums and sitars. So like you said, guitar and sitar. So again, by plucking the string, we can also produce sound, and drums, again, what we discussed earlier, by collision of two surfaces. So drums will go under that category, right? So lots of ways to produce sound. And right now, what we'll do is we'll try to feel our own vocal cord, and also see if we can feel any vibrations over there. So I request all of you to put your hand here, like the way that kid had done in the picture, and just say anything. Just try to make any sound that you wish, like and see if you can feel even while you're talking. Can you feel something in your throat?
Ma'am, some deep sound exists.
The-
Some deep sound exists during we press our this.
Okay.
thing.
Deep sound, all right. But
Uh, some-
anything else
Some
on your
vibrational sound. Vibrational sound.
vibrations? Yeah. And so can you just hear them or also feel them on your fingers? And also the throat.
Just also some shrinking something in the fingers also.
Yeah, in the fingers. So it's actually vibration that you're very able to feel vibration. I can feel it on my fingers and all the throat,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So many people, when we ask them what is sound, they automatically answer that it's vibrations, right? So, and this is a very good way to actually experience those vibrations in our own body. Okay, so this is again, please do this with your children. And now very quickly, we'll how sound is produced. So just to summarize all of that, there are mostly three important ways in which sound can be produced. One is when any two surfaces, they collide, they strike. So whenever we are clapping, okay, whenever I'm banging against the wall, I'll hear a sound. And now these sounds are produced because the two different surfaces are interacting with each other. Okay. Now, I do not have a band right now, but the example
I have, Apurva.
okay, you have?
I have.
Yeah.
I have, so I can show. Yeah. Yeah. So friends, here you can see I have a rubber band, and if I simply stretch it, I wonder if you can hear it. It's making a decent enough sound.
Little bit.
But easily you can give it to children in your classroom and show how plugged strings make sound. And of course, you can vary the tension spring and see the sound changing as well. Yes, please carry on.
Yeah. So that's another way. And after this, first we spoke of blowing air through a constricted opening. So all your whistles and even your wind instruments, so the flute, they will work on these principles. So in fact, all musical instruments will work only on these three principles. So you have the collision in tabla, collision of two surfaces, your hand and the skin of the tabla, and then you have strings in all your string instruments, and of course, blowing wind through a constricted or a small opening. That is the example of your wind instruments. Here we have the flute. Okay, so now this is a very interesting instrument, and it's actually coming from a tribal place in South America. So the whistle that ma'am just showed you earlier, that bird that was making a sound by adding water. So here also something similar has been done, but it's much more complicated and it makes so many different kind of sounds. So I'm going to share, I'm going to play this video. Is it audible? Is the sound audible? Is the sound audible?
Not yet, Apurva.
Okay. So I'm going to. Audible now?
Yes, yes, yes.
It's folk sound. For where? But where was the sound?
Hay agua ahí dentro.
We'll pick it.
Wow. ¿Y el agua pasa por ahí?
¿Ya vinieron por allá?
Sí.
Allá está. This is ornithomorph, this is the mother, this is the pair, the female, this is male, multicultural.
This is just the sound of the wind?
That there's water in there? ¿Y el agua pasa por acá, por abajo?
Acá y hay ductos. It's the Morpheus whistling battle. This is
Whistling
the
battles.
monkey sound. Forward and backward. Es antropomorpho whistling battle. Botella antropomorfa con cámara reverberante. Silba como hombre silba. La mujer le contesta. Tapando las dos bocas por acá se escucha manantial, sonido de agua cuando brota del subsuelo.
Apurva, if you will stop sharing for a minute, then I have two instruments here. This we bought in a fair, and these are actually from some tribal areas in India only. Here I have a special kind of flute. It's very long, and if you move it, you hear a sound. Can you hear?
No, not the. You should hold it from that other side with that plate.
Actually, it needs wide movements.
It needs space also.
So
But-
wait.
The one I have, I do it with the other side. I hold it from the other side.
No, actually, it has to be held this way. We will show it from the tab. So let me just.
That'd be better.
So against this wall. Can you hear?
Very slight. Very slight.
Actually, our mic should capture it, no? So, but anyway, I'll show the other one also. I mean, this is much more interesting. I hope you can hear it.
Yeah, this is audible.
It's actually making the sound of water flowing. And this is, really speaking, this is seeds. So I think I'll remove spotlight from tab. And this has seeds inside and a restricted path for the seeds to fall down. And because of which,
What happened? The sound went away.
sound went away.
Huh? Completely? I didn't.
Oh,
Now it's happening.
No sound, ma'am.
And this is a traditional instrument of India. I mean, we haven't created it. I mean, our own people, traditional people created all this. Yeah, please carry on.
So yeah, if you go to these tribal fairs, you're also bound to come across some of these, interesting instruments. And if you, I have never been to Sikkim, so I don't know about the instruments there. So maybe some of you, if there are any such similar traditional instruments, maybe you can talk about them on the chat, and we can try exploring them as well. Okay, so. Okay, now let's come to the question that what is sound? And one commonplace answer I've already told you, which I hear all the time. It's a form of energy. Okay. Can you elaborate on that a little? Then is any form of energy sound, or sorry. So we've been talking of how we are hearing sound and how is sound produced, through different ways. But what really is sound? It is vibrations, okay? Vibration of what? Which is produced by vibrations. All right. But what do we say is vibrating when we say that sound is a vibration? Okay. And in fact, right now, what I want everyone to do is just start thinking about it, because I don't want to answer it right away for everyone. I want you to keep this question in your mind as we are progressing further in the session, and maybe at one point of time, we can collectively come back to this question and answer it. Okay, so just keep this in the back of your mind. Right. Okay, and now since many of you said vibrations, so we have one very interesting experiment with respect to vibrations. So for this, ma'am, would you be able to show this, or should
Yes.
I?
Yes. So actually, yeah, we'll show it with the tab. So
I will stop sharing. I will first give the instructions, but so for this experiment, what we need is we need a plate, a steel plate, and a few grains of rice, and also a spoon. Okay, and now I will. What needs to be done? I'll show it through the tab. I'll spotlight the tab. Okay, so like ma'am is doing here, you place a few grains of rice on this plate, and now hit the plate with the spoon. And just notice what happens. And those of you who have plates and spoon and rice with you right now, please go ahead and do it yourself. So one thing is we have to hit the plate and see what happens to the rice. And now, after this, what we need to do is, yeah, you collect all the grains of rice, you flip the plate around, you invert it. Now place the rice on this inverted surface and hit the plate again, roughly with the same force you were hitting it earlier.
Apurva, there seems to be too much light here. I think visibility is not good. We'll just switch off a few lights and then try again, right?
Okay. But
I think,
yeah, okay.
are you able to see the grains properly?
It
I mean, I'll switch off a few lights and see.
Okay, okay. In the meanwhile, those of you who are attempting to do this right now, if you can switch on your...
It will get bright.
Okay, yeah, much better.
Wow.
Yeah. So do you notice any difference here? The few who are not able to do it, you can watch ma'am do it. And first we were hitting the plate, on the actual side, and now we have inverted it. Do you see any difference in movement of rice in two cases? It's yeah, and maybe you can show such a close-up the other way around also. So this is with the inverted plate, and now we'll see with the earlier case again.
Moving fast.
The trouble is, without doing it, I don't think people will be able to see the difference so well. Also, I'm noticing that the plate I have right now, it doesn't have a completely flat base. So that seems to be a problem. I mean,
The one is Johnson model, Thomson model, that is Rutherford model, and Bohr's, BOHRS.
Ma'am Annapurna, you are problem.
I muted her.
Yeah.
First, I thought maybe she's talking about something in reference to this.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, ma'am, do you want to just talk about this a bit more?
Right. So, friends, basically, here on my screen, probably you couldn't see so well, but this is something you can very easily do and actually make children do. So, The idea is to hit the plate when it is in its correct position with its base touching the table or ground, and see how much rice grains jump and what kind of sound is produced. And the reverse is when you invert it and then hit it and see the jumping of rice grains as well as the sound produced. So one very, very clear outcome of this experiment, I mean, when you compare the two situations, very clear outcome is in the second case, when we are keeping the plate like that, it jumps much more. The sound is also different and it jumps much more. I'm trying to show it with my hand. I mean, I'm keeping it with my hand, and in the second case, like that. So the sound is also different. The question is, our question to you is, why? How is it that if I keep a plate like that, the sound is so dull, and actually the vibration also is shown by the rice grains. Let me see if it shows here. I suppose not. I mean, probably, but there's certainly a difference in sound, and the vibration is visible. See, the rice grains are helping us make it visible. So in the second case, the vibration is vigorous, and rice grains jumping much more. Not possible to show very well just now, but it has to be done actually. So
We
why?
have a response actually, observation, not to your question, but Sabina, maybe you can address that also. Inward and outward movement of rice grain.
Yeah, inward and outward movement of rice grain, notice that's correct, absolutely. But what we are trying to do is contrast the two cases. Like our question is why the second case vibration is much more pronounced and sound is also a lot of louder and more ringing. So Pushpa ma'am has said because of the surface which is touching is less and more. Touching what, Pushpa ma'am? And if you are saying touching, then what difference does it make? I mean, if the surface, if what I believe she's saying is that this surface, the vibrating surface, is touching more here and less here. So touching the base probably, which means either the table or here I'm trying to show it with my hand, but the table. So what difference should it make? If it's touching more and touching less, how will it make a difference? Any response? That surface touching something, my hand or table, the sound will move to the table surface. So Pushpa ma'am is saying the sound will actually go to the table surface. In essence, what she's saying, I mean, I agree with her reasoning. If does anyone want to add to what she's saying? Okay, so I mean, if other people are not adding, I mean, I will add. We can look at it two ways. One is like he said, suppose I am keeping it like this. So my hand will absorb some of the energy, which is like, I mean, I am giving energy here, right? Now that energy is making this surface vibrate. And if I keep my hand below or the table below, there's a lot of area which is touching. So some of that energy will pass on to the table. Geeta Sapkota is saying the shapes in two cases are different. Definitely, and that makes a lot of difference. What kind of shape, what kind of configuration, arrangement you have, that completely changes the sound, as we can see. So here, some of the energy is being carried away by either my hand or the table. We can also say this is damping of vibrations. Damping of vibrations basically means the same thing, which means some of the energy is carried away. The energy is going to the table, actually, as earlier ma'am said, Pushpa ma'am said. And also, if you want to look at it another way, this surface will be more free to vibrate when it's not touching something below. It's far more free. I mean, right now kept like this, my hand or the table is restricting it much more. But when you keep it reversed, this surface, the vibrating surface, this is the mainly vibrating surface, the surface which is hit. So when it is much more free to vibrate, then rice jumps much more. So it's like freedom of movement is important for vibrations. Anything that you are vibrating, if it's free to vibrate, it will vibrate much more vigorously versus if it has some restriction. So here we are demonstrating the same thing again now by handling the same plate in two different ways. One is right now I am holding it very, very loosely. I mean, you can see that I'm just barely holding it with my fingers, and now I will hit it. What a solid, I mean, ringing, prolonged sound. And the same one now I'm tightly holding. I mean, you can see my hand from here. It's much more visible. And now I'll hit. The sound has completely changed. The more tightly, or the more I restrict it, this versus so do you see the two cases? The difference is in how much freedom to vibrate is there for the vibrating surface, right? So any comment on this? Any comment or question? So now Apurva will go to the next one. So Apurva, we will show you first describe. You are on mute.
Oh, sorry. I've been talking all this while on mute.
Oh,
So,
God.
yeah, I was asking you, the screen is visible, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So for this, we'll need 2 steel glasses, and one will be covered with a cling film, like a plastic film that we use to wrap, food in that. So that completely stretched, we have placed on one glass, as you can see. And on that glass, we'll place a few rice grains, or here we have used tea. So rice grains or tea, or even suji, anything is fine. And now we are going to hit the other glass. These two glasses, if you notice, they're not touching each other. They are kept a few centimeters away. And now we are going to hit one of the glasses and see what happens to the rice grains or the tea on the top of the second glass. So I'm going to spotlight that. But again, if you have glasses right now, please go ahead and do it. I'm going to. So, ma'am, you're ready to show? I'll spotlight. Yeah. It's not audible. When you're hitting it. Notice what is happening here. The suji that is placed on the rice that is placed on the second glass that starts dancing in a way. It's moving quite fast.
Was it all right, Apurva?
It was visible, yes. It was clearly visible.
Yeah, carry on.
Everyone was able to see that.
Yeah, so do you want to ask or I ask?
You can go ahead. Go ahead.
So the friends, once again, see, one of the glasses was where the suji was kept, right? The grains were kept, and what we were doing is hitting the other glass. Yet the suji was in this glass on which we had a thin membrane and suji was kept. That was moving. Why? We were hitting something else, and the suji was moving here. And actually here we had put in a cling film, but if you don't have cling film, we also we can use a simple. Just make rubber. So actually you can do the same experiment with a simple like cellophane paper, and like put it tightly, and even this does well. So if you don't have cling film, otherwise cling film sticks properly and works. So the question is, why is the suji, the grains moving on the other glass? Friends, somehow the class, I mean, all of you are not giving too many responses. That way our questions become ineffective. So I'm not sure why the response is not very good. Normally this doesn't happen. Please speak on chat. The question is why. So Pushpa Thakur has said sound energy travels from one object to other. Does it always happen? Displacement of vibrating wave. Basanti Sharma, that sentence that you have written doesn't like describe it like openly. I mean, it's not very clear what are you trying to say. So if you can explain this in simple terms, then so Rinzing is saying sound is a form of energy. Yes, but please notice the question. The question is, I was hitting one glass, but vibrations were visible on the other glass, and not on the glass, but on a film, and on top of that some grains. So those grains were jumping or moving. Where I was hitting the glass, somewhere else. I mean, it was he kept quite close, but it was kept on the table. So I was hitting that glass, but grains were moving here, and that too on a film. So Gopal is saying vibration of sound travels. So travels, yes, we know it travels through air, but here what is happening? What is it traveling through? Amplitude was high, sound can travel in solids, that's correct. So, but here in this case, what do you think? I mean, I hit the glass wall. Then what happened to that vibration? The glass walls, when I hit them, they would have started vibration. Now what happened? Annapurna ma'am is saying that it was given in the topic itself that vibration travel across objects. So I want you to tell me what is the traveling happening here? From the first glass walls, where did the vibrations go? Will they go to air? Will they go to the table? Where will they go? To the table. How about air? Will they go to air also? And then from the table to, suppose we say that they go to the table in the air also, yes. And then from table to the thin membrane, there's something in between. What else? To the next glass. Yes, so the table passed on to the next glass because it travels better through solids. So instead of directly going through air, they would go through air also, but not as efficiently as the solids. So the table is transmitting to the next glass, vibrates, and then where does the vibration go? So Apurva is showing through tea leaves. So from the next class to the film, and lastly to the rice. Yes, so some of them will definitely go to air also. That's why we can hear them. If they were not going to air around, we wouldn't hear them. So they will go to air all around, but they will travel through solids also. So from medium to medium to medium to medium, from object to object to object to finally we see in this was Suji grains or tea leaves. So Apurva has kept tea leaves. So Suji grains or tea leaves jump because of us hitting the first class. So vibrations really, actually it's energy being passed on from one object to another, one medium to another, like that. And here we have now a beautiful experiment. Apurva, do you have
Yes, I have it ready. I was just actually setting up for that.
Great, great. So Apurva is showing something which is like great fun for our classes. So, I mean, you can see, and it's a very simple device. So I will first.
So first I will just talk about that device a little and then.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So friends, here we call this a bhoompu. So it's this funny sort of a whistling instrument that we have created. It's nothing much actually, just the top of a plastic bottle. So we've cut the bottle, removed the cap, and I've placed a balloon here. Okay, balloon also, the mouth of the balloon on the mouth of the bottle, and then cut the balloon, and I've placed a pen. So I've taken the refill out. So it's kind of, this pen, plastic pen is now acting like a straw. Okay, so you can actually try this with a straw also, but you will need a harder one. So this is like a straw. And now when I stretch it, so now I've stuck all these together. And when I stretch it and then blow air here, we are able to hear this very loud noise. Were you all able to hear it?
Yes.
Okay, so it's quite loud, and but what I want more than this instrument, what we want to show you here is this. So in fact, I have now, yeah. So can you see the glass here? So again, I have placed a cling film and I've put some tea grains on top of this, and now I'm going to play this again. So just notice what happens to the tea. So I hope you all were able to see. Should I do this again?
Very clearly visible, Apurva.
Okay. Yeah, and so was everyone able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this works wonderfully in, of course, seeing the vibrations happen, and also when we talk about how we hear sound, through our ears, yes, but how is the sound reaching our ears? So in the earlier example, when we were able to hear that temple bell, we were using a solid medium, but that's not how we usually hear sound in our daily life. So just to explain to children that it's actually through air. So when we do it in the classroom, right now we have just one glass here, but we then have multiple glasses in this one instrument. And those multiple glasses are placed on different tables, right? And they're also far away from this instrument. Right now I'm sitting very close to it, but it's not the case when I'm doing this in a classroom. So the classes are spread out and I'm playing from one single position, and all the glasses. So the tea on all the glasses, it starts vibrating, it starts jumping around. So and then
Show once again.
You want me to show it once more? Okay.
Yeah, you are spotlighted and that glass is also spotlighted.
And I can also try going at a distance. So I'll just, you'll not be able to see me anymore. but I'll play the sound. I'll remove.
Yeah, that's the interesting part. I mean, if you go far away, still they jump because the sound is pretty loud. This shunk kind of a thing produces a loud sound. So, and even if you were in the other direction, facing the other direction, still it makes the leaves. Beautiful, Apurva. Yes.
Sorry, there was a slight malfunction.
No, no, it was. Yeah, we could. Yes, yes.
So I went quite far away actually. And even then, I was able to see the T jump. All right, so I shall close this for now. All right. So this is a very powerful demonstration to actually show that how sound is traveling through air as a medium. It's actually a proof that yes, air is being used as a medium to propagate the sound that I'm creating in my vocal cord. So it starts here, but it reaches this glass, right? And it also reaches the film that is on the top of the glass, which then helps the T vibrate. And again, this is what we spoke of earlier about the film is able to vibrate freely. There's nothing that the film is touching at the bottom or the top. So it's actually allowed to vibrate freely. And it actually, this is actually what our eardrum also does. So this whole model then also becomes a model of hearing, like how we are able to hear, where this then becomes like our eardrum. So the eardrum also vibrates when any sound is received from the surrounding. The eardrums vibrates, and then of course it's connected to the nerves, which further help the signal reaches the brain, and then it is decoded as different sounds. And we have not spoken of frequency yet, but these sounds are also coming at different speeds, different. We'll talk about that. I don't want to use the big words right now. So these sounds are different, and they make the eardrum vibrate differently. And the brain is evolved enough to understand, to perceive these even very tiny differences, which is why we hear so many different sounds. Like so many instruments or so many sounds around us, each is different from the other, right? So, ma'am, would you want to connect this to the earlier discussion you were having when we had two glasses together?
Yeah, so basically this set of experiments so far, we were actually trying to, the thing is, see, the point here is that we keep saying to children that sounds are produced by vibration. But the trouble is most often these vibrations are not visible. I mean, when you suppose you clap, you can't see vibrations. When you hit a table, you can't see vibrations. So most of these experiments are actually around two things. One, that vibrations are produced in everything that produces sound. Sounds are produced from vibrations. So anything, whether vibration is visible or not, is not the point. It will always must be vibrating, and those vibrations are traveling from medium to medium to medium, and of course through air eventually to our eardrum and to our brain. So far it was production of sound through various means, and now we'll move on to the next set of experiments which actually show the characteristics of the vibrations themselves. What are vibrations and what are some of their features?
Wait, just give me a moment. So we still haven't done the tuning fork one.
So we are coming to tuning fork. Okay. So yeah, so do you want me to show tuning fork?
I'll just show the slide first and then we can. You're showing both, right? With water and.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So now for the next set of vibrations that we'll see, we're actually going to use this device that's called a tuning fork. I'm sure many of you have already used this device before. So in fact, we can show it to you. It looks like what is there on this diagram here, this one. So this is a tuning fork, and when we hit it against a rubber pad, it vibrates, and it vibrates at different frequencies, right? So every tuning fork is set to a certain frequency. We'll come to what frequencies are, but right now we make the tuning fork vibrate, and then we are going to bring a table tennis ball, which is a very light ball, or maybe today probably we're using thermocol balls, but very light balls we are going to bring close to this, and then let's see what happens to those balls. And in the next case, we are going to bring this tuning fork close to a bowl of water. So we have water filled up in a bowl, and then what happens when we bring the tuning fork close to that water? So I'm going to spotlight tab. Oh,
So tab, maybe I can show it there.
yes, yeah.
So here's a tuning fork, friends, and like most labs, science labs have it, but there is something very special about a tuning fork, which we talk about a little later. But first, let's see it in action. Of course, I mean, I have a rubber pad. I mean, you can use a simple eraser, and if you hit the tuning fork, I'll have to keep it on the table and then hit. So should I show it with the tab? But I think, I mean, it's fine. I'll just
You
hit
can
it with,
just screen down a little, like you can just.
yeah, that's what I'll do. So here's a rubber, which is on which I hit, and the tuning fork starts giving a sound. I mean, you won't be able to hear it. If I bring it close to my ear, I can clearly hear. And of course, I can feel the vibration in my hands also. But I will show you the vibration, as Apurva said, using a ball, like table tennis ball. Any light ball will do, or even a thermocol ball will do. So I will hit it first, and when I bring it close to the, or the ball touches it, the vibrations push the ball by itself. I'm not doing anything. It's the vibration, the two prongs of the tuning fork vibrating vigorously. I mean, I'll keep it slightly higher. Wait. But you saw, I mean, like it happened
Very clearly.
very aggressive. Yeah. And we will show you also on water. So on water, I mean, I can fill water in any, either, I will just fill water in any bowl, and on the water surface, the vibrations are very clearly visible if I touch the water surface. Maybe we can show it with the tab, I think. Tab from top. So just spotlight the tab. Did you see?
I saw. Others can maybe respond on the chat.
Yeah. So if you've seen properly, then it's fine. The water is spilling all over. It's like the vibration is so vigorous. So you saw?
Yeah, it was visible, clearly visible.
So, I mean, of course, if you touch a vibrating tuning fork, you can clearly feel the vibrations. And of course, I mean, it's good to even touch it to your body. Like if you touch it to your head, to your skull, the vibrations travel through your skull, which we can feel through our bones. So that's also, so in like lot of experiments are actually possible through a tuning fork, but I mean, we won't be able to show all of them to you. If you keep a vibrating tuning fork over a box, I mean, an inverted box, then that box acts like a music box. The way music boxes are there, I mean, I can show you the arrangement. You will not be able to hear the sound right now. So I mean, you can keep a vibrating tuning fork on an inverted box, and the sound becomes louder. So actually, it's understood. So here's I mean, I've kept a box, and I will actually keep a vibrating tuning fork here on the box, and the sound becomes louder because now this vibration actually passes on to the air inside the box, and it's called a sound box, which is, you know, that whether it's guitar or sitar or veena, a lot of musical instruments have these music boxes just to amplify the sound. So anyhow, the question is, what is so special about a tuning fork? After all, everything produces vibration. Nearly everything in the world produces vibration. But what is very special about a tuning fork? Does anybody know? I mean, we know that doctors use it. I mean, ENT specialists use it. Even it is used for musical instruments. I mean, for setting there, tuning them, and all that. Okay, so probably people are not aware. See, if you see a tuning fork, you will notice that there is a number written on it here. So mine says 256, and here this is 256C. C is actually for music. I mean, how musical notes are arranged on musical instruments. So right now, in physics, we are not bothered about that C, but the 256 is a very special number. This is 256 hertz. You know what hertz is? Does anyone know? A unit of sound. It's not correct to say unit of sound because sound has 2-3 characteristics. Each has a different unit. So hertz is a unit of what? Unit of vibrations? No, vibrations have like 2-3 units. So this is one feature of vibrations. SI unit. No, I mean, there is decibel also, there's hertz also. There is also, I mean, well, even millimeter, centimeter, or micrometer can also be a unit or something else about vibrations. So, I mean, this is a unit of what? So, okay, so we will first show you 2-3 things to establish what is it we are talking about. First is, I mean, let's see something vibrating. So to begin with, I'll show something very simple in which vibrations are easily visible. So this is a heater coil. The best spring you can get in the market is a heater coil. So you see, right now it's like it's still vibrating because of my little movement of my hands. But if there was no disturbance coming to it, it will not vibrate. But the moment I give it a disturbance slightly, it vibrates vigorously. And there are many vibrations happening in every second. So basically, hertz is how many vibrations per second. In 1 second, how many vibrations? So, and actually, pendulum is a very good device to measure this. This is what we call as frequency. Number of vibrations. But one vibration is like, if we start from here, going here and coming back. So the full vibration is from one side here and coming back. That's one complete vibration. So number of vibrations per second is what we call as frequency, and its unit is hertz. And we will try actually measuring frequency or measuring time. So from time, we will calculate frequency. So what we will do is, we have set up, Parul has set up a pendulum here, because pendulum is the best classroom device with which to measure frequency, or what we call as time period. Time period is the time taken in one full vibration. Time taken in one full vibration from going from here to here and coming back, that is called time period, right? And frequency is how many of these time periods in 1 second. So time periods can be multiple, can be less than one, can be more than one, but how many of these time durations in 1 second. So right now we will actually show you, Parul is setting up our the pendulum, and all of us will actually measure the time period. Measuring time for one vibration is actually a little difficult, so we will measure it for 10. So some of you right now, you must be having a stop clock, some kind of stopwatch in your mobile phone. So at least a few people can volunteer to measure time taken for the first 10 vibrations. We are soon showing you the vibrations through tab. So, so some people will have to measure time taken for the first 10 vibrations, 1 to 10, and some other people will have to measure 10 to 20. So before measurement, Parul just move it once, the pendulum. I'm spotlighting tab. Abhi measure nahi kar rahe. We are not measuring just now. I'm just showing. So just show. So friends, so this is only for you to see. Now Parul will take it to one side and start. Wait. Start only when I say start.
And
So,
also you can count yourself, like you can call it out also.
Yes.
So
I will call it out. Who all are measuring time? People, you have to volunteer. How many people are measuring for 1 to 10? Time for 1 to 10 vibrations. At least 2-3 people should be measuring. Nobody is measuring? What happened? Friends, please volunteer. I mean, there's no point unless you participate. I mean, we could have given a simple lecture on a video and run it, but we want you to be involved. So Archana has raised hand. Archana is probably, you are measuring. So anybody else to measure? We need at least 3-4 people. So I mean, at least 2 people should be measuring the first 10, and the other 2 people should be measuring from 10 to 20. That is 11 to 20. Geeta is saying difficult to count. No, I'll do the counting. Don't worry. As long as you can start your stopwatch and start and stop. When I say, when I will say start, I will also say 10. So on 10, some people have to stop and other people have to start. And those people will then stop when I say 20. So half the people stop at 10, other half the people stop at 20. They may start at 10. I mean, as soon as the 10 ends, they start the stopwatch and end when it is 20. So counting I'm doing, don't worry. So now, so Rinzing is doing, Geeta is doing. No, Rinzing, oh no, Rinzing said unit of frequency. Anybody else ready? See, we should have at least 3-4 people. 2 people can also do, but then at least 3-4 people in the class should participate. There are so many of you. So 2 participants also, Archana, Sabina Sharma, raised hands. So great. So, okay. So Archana, you are measuring from when I say start to the time when I say 10, right? And Sabina, when I say 10, then your clock should start and stop when I say 20. Okay, ready? Others, please also do it. I mean, 2 people are doing, but it's because, you know, if many people do, we will see experimental error also. It's important. In every experiment, there is a range of values we get because we always make that little human error. Exactly when we hit our stop clock, either we start it or stop it, there is a little error. So because of that, we always take an average of many measurements. So okay, so I will ask Parul to start. Parul एक तरफ ले जाके, है ना? जब मैं start बोलूँगी तब छोड़. 1, 2, 3, start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And there is some noise.
यस्तो लाइन थियो नि
Some noise.
केही कोलोनीको केटाहरू है यत्रो यत्रो ज्याकेट लाएर गयो
We'll have to do it again. There was so much noise. So we'll do it once again. And there was also some internet disturbance. So we'll do once again. When I'll say start, friends, can you see properly? So right now, Usha Sharma said 14 seconds is from 1 to 10. So we are doing it once more. And let's see. But I have another question. What do you think? Should the time be more in 1 to 10 or more in 11 to 20? What do you think? Here I want more answers from people. In the first 10, the time should be more, or in the last 10, the time should be more? What do you think? Sabina is saying can't count. I will count. Yeah, so there was noise. That's why I muted everyone. I'm sorry. So we are starting again. But I want to know, what do you think? Time taken in 1 to 10 will be more, or 11 to 20 will be more? What is your guess? I mean, initially the pendulum goes much, much farther and it becomes less and less. So Geeta is saying 11 to 20 should take more time. Let's see. We should see this experiment, right? So I'm going to start and Parul starting. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Stop. So now I need from you people on chat the two values. So Santosh has said 13 seconds for second 10. Okay, so one value is that from 11 to 20 there is 13 seconds. What about 1 to 10? So another person has said 13 for second set. What about the first set? Nobody counted first set? Same timing taken is both. Geeta has said the same time is taken in both. Do others agree with what Geeta has observed? So actually Geeta is right, friends. See, the interesting part about vibrations is that, see, if one body, Apurva, can you stop sharing?
I'm not sharing.
So, okay. How come? Oh, my internet. Yes, that's what. there is some problem with my laptop. Apurva, can you hear me?
I can. Yeah.
So something is wrong with my laptop just now. Something has gone wrong.
Okay.
So, but I'll try then speaking on the tab, right?
All right. All right.
So friends, actually what we were trying to say is that this is something fabulous about vibrations. Just a second, give me a minute.
We can hear you through your laptop only, actually.
The thing is, something is happening with my laptop. It's become unstable. I don't know why.
But right now your audio is coming through the laptop and it's coming okay.
Okay, fine. Then I'll use the tab for the audio for the picture, and I'll keep speaking. Anyway, see, the laptop is capturing everything, but it's not showing me. So there's some problem. Anyway, doesn't matter. So friends, what we were saying is that there's something very, very fascinating about vibrations, that every vibration in the world maintains its time. Vibrations are nature's clocks. They maintain their time and they maintain it very, very accurately. This tuning fork has a very fixed time for one vibration of its prongs. So the time period is fixed, and so frequency is the inverse of time period. I mean, time taken in one complete vibration, if we find that, so then we know in 1 second how many vibrations. So it is like time period is called as T, and frequency, which we call as hertz, is generally represented by nu, but that doesn't matter. Frequency and time period are inverse of each other. So if time period is fixed, then frequency is also fixed. So the tuning fork has a fixed frequency. I mean, if it's like I told you, it gives me 256 number. That 256 number is actually its frequency, which means its prongs always vibrate with 256 vibrations in 1 second. Okay, 256 vibration in 1 second. So there is a fixed frequency, and sound has a very direct connection with frequency. Frequency is a very, very important property of sound. How fast this vibration is happening versus how slow it is happening, it completely changes the character of sound. It's a very important quantity and something we want to show you using a frequency generator app. See, so Apurva, can you show on your screen like frequency and time relation? I mean, just to support what I'm saying. Yeah.
You mean on the whiteboard, right?
Yeah, that way, or in the slide, whichever way.
Okay.
Show it on the whiteboard if you want. Just write down.
I'll just give me a moment.
While Apurva is taking this out, I will show you the frequency generator app. So, okay, yeah. So Apurva is showing this on the screen, that frequency is 1 upon the time taken in a single vibration. T is the time taken in a single vibration. So when we calculated time as 13 seconds, so time taken in one vibration was 1.3 seconds. So frequency would be 1 upon 1.3. That would be the frequency of that pendulum. If we had taken a longer pendulum, we would find a different frequency. Our shorter pendulum, a different frequency. So every object has its own frequency, and frequency has a very unique relationship with sound, as we are going to show you. Can you stop screen sharing? So friends, here is the frequency generator app that I'm trying to show you. Apurva, can you spotlight?
I accidentally muted you. You'll have to unmute it. Unmute. You are on mute.
I can't unmute. You unmute.
Huh.
Have you done?
By
Yeah. So can you spotlight?
Yeah, it's spotlighted.
Okay. So here's the frequency generator app, and I will try making you hear this sound. See, can you see on the screen 440 written? Now I will play this sound. Audible?
No, not so much.
Audible?
No. I mean, I can't hear. I don't know if others can.
Wait, let me try. How do I mean, in fact, I'm not very sure where my mics are. I have to take it close to the mic. Geeta saying she can hear. Let me just see where's the mic for my laptop. Apurva, do you know where the laptop mics are usually are? I've never noticed.
It has to be on the sides or probably one of the edges.
So just see if
On the,
any difference.
the edges, as in the keypad, the edges around that.
See, maybe I can try with by increasing frequency.
Abhi, I just heard something.
Is this better?
Just when you moved it, I think it's near. Maybe the tab you can try.
Yes, I'll try with the tab. Tab is a better sound.
Should I play it from my end? Maybe you tell me if it's audible. I also have the app just up with me. Is it audible, everyone? How about now? And you'll notice now I'm going to change the frequencies. Is it audible now? I've stopped it for a while, but were you able to hear the difference in these frequencies? So louder, but any other difference? So I'm going to bring it back to a lower frequency. Okay. I'll not show you the number, how much. And I will change the frequency. So you tell me whether I'm increasing it or decreasing it. This might not be audible. Yeah, so I was actually increasing it. And what is the kind of difference that you were able to notice in these sounds? One response on the chat is last one was more shrill. Yeah, and the pitch is high. There was another response that says pitch is high. So both of these are correct, that I was actually increasing the frequency and it was sort of becoming unbearable to hear. I don't know about you guys, but from here, because it's right next to me, the higher the frequency, the more difficult it was to hear it. It was so shrill, right? And yes, so with the increase in the frequency, the pitch is also increasing. Absolutely right. Here, the pitch is increasing, and just one moment. Yeah, so pitch is actually our perception of this frequency. When we have these varying frequencies, we don't in daily life go around by saying, oh, this is a high frequency, this is a low frequency. We actually talk in terms of whether we hear very soft, hard voices, or we hear very shrill, very, sometimes we say very thin voices. And even in music, those of you who sing or in a music class, we speak that, okay, abhi upar se gao, or you sing from a higher position, or you sing from a lower position. So what we are actually, what the teacher tells is trying to tell during that moment is to change the frequency at which we are speaking. When we are saying that, okay, we have to sing from a higher position, we actually mean from a higher frequency, which gives a more shrill sound than a lower one. Right? In fact, this difference is also very visible on our instruments, like a keyboard, piano. The entire instrument is divided into on the basis of the kind of frequencies, the kind of pitches that we are able to hear, right? So this is absolutely what the few responses that I have received, they are correct. Just one moment.
Apurva,
Right.
my laptop is troubling. Apurva, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
See, I am speaking from my mobile because my laptop is troubling again and again. So I will attend from the tab and the mobile. So we will show the Jal Tarang right now from tab.
Okay, just one more thing. Amplitude is probably something we can talk about right now.
Yeah. After that, we will show Jal Tarang from the tab. My laptop I have lost control over my laptop. It's not even allowing me to change host setting.
You can switch on the camera from the tab.
From the tab. Okay.
So yeah, you can switch on the front camera, so we'll be able to see your face then.
Face is not important.
I mean, just like till the time we are discussing. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So yes, so pitch was one feature that we were able to notice. And there's another property that's usually associated with vibrations, and that is called amplitude. So, and many of you might already be aware of what amplitude is. So quickly, can we talk about that? You can type on the chat. So when she was vibrating that coil, right now I'm going to use this. And now if this is vibrating, right? So what is the amplitude? What is it that I'm referring to as the amplitude? And now, okay, just to give you a hint, I'm going to increase the amplitude now. And with time, you can see the amplitude reduces. Displacement of the spoon. Yeah, that's actually correct. Just to add a little bit, it's the displacement from the mean position, from the central position where the spoon originally was. And I can also show this to you through this diagram. So this here is this displacement from the mean position. We refer to this as the amplitude, and the greater this displacement is, greater is the amplitude. And so like pitch was the perception of how we perceive frequency. Any suggestions on, how do we perceive this amplitude property? How are we able to differentiate between two vibrations? Which one has a higher amplitude and which one has a lower one, by hearing that. On hearing two vibrations, if they fall within our range, how can we differentiate between the amplitude? Okay, so since we also want to do many other things, I'll quickly answer this. It's usually the loudness. So we perceive it as how loud or how low a sound is. And a louder sound means a greater amplitude, whereas a lower sound has a very less amplitude. Okay, so a greater frequency will result in a more shrill voice, but a greater frequency might also happen at a very low amplitude, right? Which is when we'll not be able to hear it. So if I go back to my app, and very high frequencies, right now the frequency is as high as 18,000 something, right? But again, so many reasons here, it also falls outside. 20,000 is with 18,000 is within the hearing range, but it's on the higher end. So that is one reason we are not able to hear this frequency at all. But sometimes, even if it's an audible frequency, even if it's a frequency like this, you will be able to hear. But if I bring the amplitude, like if I'm reducing the volume to 0, it's still vibrating, but we'll not be able to hear it. Right now, we'll be able to hear it a little. So by using this volume button, I'm actually changing the amplitude. And now I've reached the maximum capacity that this device can offer. Okay, I hope this was clear. And now let's move on to this experiment of gel therapy. Yeah, I've spotlighted it. Yeah, ma'am, you can start and also connect to the audio. You're not connected to the audio, so I don't know if you're saying anything or not.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Now you're audible.
Now you can hear me.
Yes.
But then I'll have to
You can take the phone closer to the setup.
okay. So I'll just repeat. So we have these 6 glasses in which I'm going to hit them with a spoon, and you will see the sound being produced from each.
There's a network issue actually with the phone now. So the voice is breaking. We can't hear this. Now it's audible. Now it's audible.
Okay.
But you should do this again.
Just compare the sound of this with this. What I notice is this glass is is made with a different material. So it's giving a different kind of sound. So I'm removing it. Actually, the glasses have to be identical for this experiment to work well. So I'll keep only 5 and now see. Even this one is probably not the same material. Can you hear properly?
Yes.
And can you see the difference in sounds? And you have to tell me which sound is higher or shriller, which will have a higher frequency, this one or this one. I will just strike these 2. Which one is higher? Less water, more water? Please respond in chat. Less water is higher frequency. Exactly. Actually, it's because of this air column that a higher frequency sound is produced. In fact, I can reduce the water a little more so that the effect is much more pronounced. If you just compare these 2. And actually, this is a very easy experiment to do. You can keep 7 glasses and fill them till different heights and actually create something like a Saregama Padhanisa. So the musical octaves, there's those notes you can produce, and those notes are nothing but different frequencies of sound, right? So I hope everybody could hear this one properly. We want to show you a couple of more experiments before we end today. So Apurva, shall we go to the next experiment?
Yes.
So now we have we wanted to come to sound as a wave. So we talked about producing sound, but the thing is only one object vibrates. So like the glasses or their walls vibrate, or water vibrates, I mean, one object vibrates first, and then vibrations go from medium to medium, place to place, object to object. They travel through the medium. So this traveling vibrations, this traveling of energy is what is a wave. And we want to show you waves in 2-3 waves. Sound is a wave. We have all heard that. So the interesting thing about wave is only energy traveling, and the particles which are vibrating, they don't travel. Every particle is sitting in its place and moving. So we have 2-3 objects for you to see. One is this beautiful demonstration of a object. So, Puru, can you spotlight the tab?
Oh, I spotlighted your. Just 1 moment.
So here is a slinky, which we will pass. Just a sec. First, let me show you a slinky, what it looks like. Okay, so here is a slinky, and I'm passing a wave through a slinky. Can you see the wave?
Yes, it's visible.
So I will try holding this and showing you. See, from one end, I will produce the wave. See, I am actually disturbing a few rings from here. When I disturb the rings, a wave travels through the slinky, right? So this is a longitudinal wave. A longitudinal wave is one in which the direction travel of the wave and the movement of the rings or movement of the particles is in the same direction. So this is a longitudinal wave, whereas a transverse wave is, this is a transverse wave where particles move. Particles are moving perpendicular, but the wave is moving in this direction. Wave movement direction is what the particles are, is what is we call as transverse, which means the particle movement direction is this. So actually, slinky is a very good instrument to have, and actually it's a children's toy. So Apurva, just spotlight the tab. Yeah, so this is a children's toy. Is actually to understand that how a wave passes, because one can clearly see these vibrating rings, which is otherwise not possible. So seeing individual rings vibrate and how they are passing on through the whole length, that's visible in a slinky. We have another model which we will try to show you. This is a model which we make with the help of straws. First, we will show it to you, and then we'll show it to you in action. So once again, please spotlight the tab.
Hi.
So this is a model which we have made with the help of which we have stuck with the help of tape. So there is one tape on top, one tape below, placed at an equal distance, so that now they are tied to each other. Now, let me see without in air. Let me see if I can make wave. No, we'll have to hold it in air. So Apurva, spotlight the tab.
It's spotlighted.
So here is and now I will the wave in this. So Can you see a wave being produced?
For some reason today it's not very clearly visible. Abhi this was. It was much better. Yeah, the effect is not very prominently visible.
Actually, it's going pretty fast, so I don't know whether the camera is able to capture it. See,
Not very clearly.
let me try. Let me just.
It's
actually traveling very fast. It's traveling very fast. That's why, I mean, the camera is barely able to capture it.
yeah, that's true. Maybe in the future we can record it and then show it in slow motion.
So we have shown this now. Now, Apurva, we are almost through with our time. So for now, we can either wind up, or do we want to show resonance or some resonating bodies?
We can show actually, but I think it's better to ask the participants because I can already notice some drop in the numbers. And for those who are here, it's already 1. So we can ask everyone. I think that will be. So again, a question for everyone. Would you be able to?
10 minutes more, then we will be able to show some resonance experiment. So you'll have to tell us on chat.
No responses. It's a very silent classroom today.
They said lunch time. Someone said network issue. Can we continue in the next session?
You're not audible. You're not audible.
So, Apurva, now what are people saying?
So people are saying lunchtime, and then they're also.
Okay. So in that case, we will end today only, just now only. So sorry, friends, we had some disturbance today. I mean, actually technical problem, which once my laptop stopped working, then it became very difficult for me to show experiments. But as you all know, that this series will go on every Friday. I mean, that's what the Education Department Sikkim has decided. So we meet you next time, next Friday, with more experiments and another interesting science topic, right? So with that, let's say bye for today.
Bye, everyone. Hope you
If,
enjoyed.
if you want to say anything, you can say on chat. Yeah, so thank you, friends. Thank you for being here, and see you again on next Friday. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
You can also say bye.
Yeah. You're welcome, everyone. And hope to see you again next Friday.